So in today's session, we are supposed to talk about a simple concept. Okay, it's a very, very simple concept. What is that concept all about? Okay, so that is nothing but nested if. Okay, the concept which we are going to talk about is something called as nested if here. Okay, what is nested if? What is nested if here? It's a very, very simple topic. Okay, we know what is a if condition, right? Okay, when I tell nested if, it means one if is present inside another if here. Okay, it simply means here what? One if is present inside another if over here. Okay, so what are the different things we have here? Okay, what are the different things we have in it? So let me give you the syntax first so it becomes easy for our understanding perspective. Okay, so nested if meaning we have if open parenthesis close and open curly braces close. So this is nothing but the if condition, and I have to give the condition within this particular parenthesis over here, right? So this is called as outer if. What do we call it as? We call it as outer if. What is nested if? One if is present inside another if. So we have one inner if condition as well. Okay, so this is called as nested if. Okay, I give the condition over here. Okay, and what do we call this as? We call it as inner if here. So what is nested if, guys? Nested if is nothing but one if is present inside another if here. This is what we call it as nested if. Clear? So now let me try to check. Okay, let me try to develop a program so that it becomes easy for our understanding perspective. Now we are supposed to create, okay, a Java program. So what is the step here? First step is we are supposed to create a class and we have to give the class name, and the class name is nested if. Clear? So later we have to have our main method, public static void main, within parenthesis it is string array of arguments. Okay, now so we also have a class and we also have our main method wherein the execution is always beginning from. Okay, great. Now here let me have a couple of questions. Let me have a couple of things here. See here, I will have a variable int a equals to 5. That's more than sufficient. Okay, int a equals to 5. Now I'll write one if condition here. See, if open parenthesis close, open curly braces close, and I give the condition over here. If a is lesser than or equal to 10, okay, the control will come inside. Okay, the control will come inside. So I will tell system dot out dot println, and I print some content over here. I print some content. What is it? I just tell here inside outer if. Okay, inside outer if here. That's it. Okay, I'm just trying to print inside outer if, and then I check one condition here. Okay, check one condition. If phi, okay, if phi a equal to 5. Okay, if it is a equal to 5, then I have one more curly braces. Okay, else. Okay, I'll just write it as system dot out dot println. What am I supposed to do here? I will write it as a a oh my god, a is equal to 5. Okay, so here I'll just copy paste this. Okay, so a is not equal to 5. Okay, that's all about it, and I'll have one outer else also. So what will I do it in outer else? In outer else I'll just write it as a is uh, greater than okay 10. Yeah, that is sufficient. I'm not trying to concat anything. Okay, now let me save this program, guys, and I'll explain it to you. Don't worry. Okay, I'll explain it to you. Okay, so let me save that particular file here. Let me save it. Control S. Okay, Control S is I need to save it. Okay, so when I want to save it, it's asking me, Uday, where do you want to save your programs, right? On the desktop. Okay, we have created a folder. I have to search for a folder called as Java programs, right? I open that folder. Over here, I'll give the class name as nested if. Class name, file name should be same. .java. The extension of all Java programs is .java, and save as type. We are supposed to give the file name as Java source file until it has saved. Okay, so we have successfully saved a Java program, right? Now we have to understand what is the output. Okay, so now see here, guys, what is my a value? Sir, a value is 5, sir. Very good. Is phi lesser than or equal to 10? Yes. Okay, this is nothing but true. Why true? Why? Because phi is lesser than or equal to 10. So what happens? The outer if will get executed completely. So what is this called as? This we call it as outer if, right? So this outer if will get executed completely, and this is called as outer else. Okay, this is called as what? outer else, that is ignored. So now the control gets inside. So what it will happen? Inside outer if will get printed. And later I check my A value. Is A equal to 5? Yes, true. A is equal to 5 will get executed and the inner else is ignored. And what happens here? The inner else will get ignored here. Okay, this is inner else and this is inner if. Inner if like. See, it's like AND condition, guys. See, if the outer if is true, the control comes inside and the inner if gets checked here. So it's like I'm checking a couple of conditions. If the first condition is true, the control comes inside and I check the second condition. So that's how we are supposed to understand this, right? And then I need to compile it. No, what is the steps for compilation? Java C nested if.java and I tell enter. So the compilation should also happen in a beautiful manner. And then I need to interpret it. So once when I interpret, the command uses Java nested if. So now am I getting the output here? Yes, I got the output. Clear? So this is what we are supposed to understand over here. Got it? Clear everyone here? Okay, done. Okay, this is all about the existing data here. Okay, now similarly over here. Okay, this is one program. This is one program, and I give it as 7. Now I give the output input. I mean, see inside outer if A is equal to 5. Now I give it as okay 7. What will be the output? First, is 7 lesser than or equal to 10? Yes, true, sir. True, sir. So what happens? Outer if should get executed and the outer else is ignored. Okay, outer else is ignored, but the outer if should get executed. Again, inside outer if will get executed and I check the A value. Is 7 equal to 5 here? No, no matter what, 7 is not equal to 5. So what happens? This is false and the inner else will get executed. The output will be A is not equal to 5. Okay, so if you want to cross check, you can compile your program. You know, in order to compile, I'm trying to do this. Okay, see here, I compile a Java program. Okay, and simultaneously we should also interpret it as well. So once I interpret, can you see inside outer if, but A is not equal to 5 here. With the clarity, it depends, you know, how does it get executed. Now in this particular scenario, what will be the output here? 70. Okay, 70 I'm giving it over here. What will be the output now? Sir, is 70 lesser than or equal to 10? No, it is false. If the outer condition is false, the control will never ever get inside. The control will never get inside. Why? Because the outer condition is only false here. So how will the control get executed? So therefore, the outer else will get executed. So what will be the outer else here? A is greater than 10 here. So when I want to compile it and when I want to interpret it, okay, did we get the output here? Just take, see, did we get the output? Yes. So this is how we are supposed to understand nested if over here. Nested if meaning one if is present inside another if here. So I'm going to do a program for login validation. That is, first what I'll do, you know, I will check if the user ID is valid or not. If the user ID is valid, okay, if the user ID is valid true, then what will I do here? I will check the password. Okay, so I will check the password. So if the password is again true, it means login successful. Okay, what am I supposed to do here? I'll just give it as login successful here. Got the clarity? If it is false here, if it is false, I will just write it as login unsuccessful. Okay, so here it is login unsuccessful. You got the clarity about what am I trying to do here? First, login validation, guys. For login, you require user ID and password. First, I check the ID. If the ID is true, then I check the password. If the password is true, therefore login is successful because ID is also true, password is also true. Now ID is true, but the password is false. Then login unsuccessful. Got the clarity? If login is ID is only false here, if ID is only false here, login unsuccessful again. Okay, na? Login unsuccessful. So this is all about it. Okay, so we're just trying to understand the data here. LS means login successful, LUS meaning login unsuccessful. This is all about it. Okay, can we write a program for it? 100%, 101% I can write a program for it. Okay, how, sir? Can you help us build the program? Yes, absolutely yes. So I will tell class, and the class name is, I will give it as login validation. Login validation. Open curly braces and close curly braces. Okay, now great. So this is a class and the class name is login validation over here. Okay, great here. After that, okay, after that, I have my main method. Main method is wherein the execution will always start from. So I have public static void main. Within parenthesis, I have to give it as string array of arguments. Okay, then open curly braces and close curly braces. So what have I done, guys? So I have opened a basic editor, that is either Notepad or Notepad++. You can execute your program wherever you want it. Okay, but I will have to make use of the basic editor here. Okay, so the class name is login validation and the main method is wherein the execution will begin from. Okay, now let me save the file. Okay, let me save the file. Control S on the desktop, I have a folder called as Java programs. I have a folder called as Java programs. Over here, I open that folder and I tell login validation is my class name and the file name should be same. And the extension of all Java programs are .java. Okay, and then what am I supposed to do? Save as, you have to write it as, Java source file and then save. So what have you understood here? You have written a class and you have your main method where the execution will begin from. Okay, now in order to log in, okay, in order to log in into any application here, user ID and password. So these are the two requirements, right? So I will take a variable called as string. String is a data type to store a set of characters. Okay, now ID equals to my ID is admin. Okay, now step. So what did you understand, sir? String is a variable. ID is a string is the data type. ID is a variable, and it is storing a value called as admin, right? And I'll also have a password. Int is the data type. Password is the variable name, and the password is 123. So these are my two requirements, ID and password. Now I have to take some decision. Right? So I take if open parenthesis close, I check the ID. ID, if it's equal to admin, I make use of double equals. Why double equals? Double equals is used for comparing LHS and RHS, but a single equals is used for assigning, initializing. Okay, now don't forget it. Then open curly braces, close curly braces. If the ID is equal to admin, so what does it mean? ID is valid. So I'll write it as system.out.println and I just write it as okay, user ID is valid. User ID is valid. Got the clarity now? Okay. Next, I have to check the password now. If the user ID is valid, then I need to check the password. Okay. If open parenthesis close, I check the password. If the password equal to 123, I'm just checking if the password is equal to 123 over here. Okay. So now, if the password is equal to 123, and then I write it as open curly braces and close curly braces. Okay. Then I just write it as password is also valid now. Okay. What is valid now? Even password is valid. Password is valid. Therefore, login is successful. So I'll tell it as login successful. Okay, with a smile. Just kidding. That's it. Okay. So we have one condition over here. Nested if meaning one if is present inside another if. It's like chaining condition. Oh, if the outer condition is come easy, I need to check the inner conditions. Now I'll write one else condition. Else open curly braces, okay, and close curly braces. Don't you think so? See, if the user ID is successful, if it is valid, the control comes inside. Now I check the password. If the password is also valid, then login is successful. But if the password is invalid, so password is invalid. So hence login is unsuccessful. ID might be true, but the password is unsuccessful. Login unsuccessful. I'll have a sad face. Okay, that's it. Okay, now this is all about the entire process here. Okay, great. Now here I will have an else condition, outer else. If the user ID is only invalid here, what does it mean? It's simple. User ID is invalid. Let me write it down in a beautiful way here. So I just write it as, just a moment. User ID is invalid. So login unsuccessful. Again, a sad face. Done. This is all about my program, guys. Okay, so this is all about my entire program here. Okay, so this is what you are supposed to understand when it comes to the programming part. Okay, see, I have two variables. What are those two variables? ID and password. Okay, there are two variables called as ID and password. ID is storing admin, password is storing 123. Now I check if ID equals to admin. So is ID equal to admin? Yes, true. So yes, sir, it's true. Therefore, user ID is valid. So user ID is valid. But the next step is I need to evaluate the password. I take the password. Is password equal to 123? Yes. Therefore, this is also true. What will happen? Password is valid, login successful. And the remaining blocks, everything are ignored. Everything is ignored. Okay. And now, in order to execute it, what will I do here? I will make use of one execution part. So how will I compile my Java program? Java C login validation. Okay, login validation dot Java. I tell enter. Java C login validation dot Java. So it's absolutely valid. No errors, meaning I have not made any mistakes. Then I have to just so if you have that those arrow mark, no, if you just go back to the above arrow mark, okay, up down, so it will go to the previously executed command. So I have to directly tell it as Java login validation. When I tell it as Java login validation, so here can you see user ID is valid, password is valid, hence login successful. Okay, now similarly, I give the password as 12345. Now, the password is invalid. So what will be the output? See, admin is the ID, password is 12345. Okay, now, is ID equal to admin? Yes, true, sir, true. ID is valid. So therefore, user ID is valid. Now I check the password. Password is nothing but 12345. Is 12345 equal to 123? No, the control directly goes to the else block. Okay, if true, if block. If false, else block. Password is invalid. Login unsuccessful. So user ID might be true, but the password is still invalid. So login unsuccessful. Can we compile it and see? Yes, compile your Java program. And you can also interpret your Java program. Did you get see? User ID is valid, password is invalid. Hence, login unsuccessful. So you want both the things to be true. Only then you can achieve it. Okay, now done. So this is how we are supposed to understand, okay, the validation process. Now, what if I give valid password, okay, valid password, but invalid here, okay, admin XYZ, okay, I'll write it as admin XYZ. Now, what happens? I take the ID. Is ID admin XYZ equal to admin? No, false. So the outer if will never get executed. The control will never get inside. Why? Because the outer condition is only false. How will the control get inside? So directly the outer else will get executed. So outer else is user ID is invalid and therefore login unsuccessful. See, if the user ID is only invalid, why the hell should I check the password here? Not at all necessary. Correct. So that's the reason I'm making use of this particular logic here. Okay. See, if I compile it, if I interpret it, did I get the output? User ID invalid, login unsuccessful. So this is how we are supposed to understand the expected output here. Okay.